The slap echoed before anyone saw it coming. Zainab staggered back, her cheek burning, her ears ringing louder than the music that had been playing seconds earlier. The spoon fell from her hand and clattered against the tiled floor. The room went quiet, except for Kunle's breathing, hard, controlled, deliberate. "Don't ever talk to me like that again," Kunle said, his voice low but sharp. "You are my wife." Zainab didn't cry. She couldn't. Her throat locked, her chest tight as if something heavy had been dropped inside it. She looked at him, really looked at him, and in that moment, one thought screamed in her head. I should have waited. 2 years earlier, Zainab had been laughing. She was standing in her mother's kitchen, tying her scarf when her phone buzzed. Another wedding picture, another engagement ring, another caption screaming, "God did it!" Her mother glanced at her phone. "Who is it again?" "Halima," Zainab replied casually. Her mother sighed. Not the tired kind, the pointed kind. Another one. "Zainab, you are not getting younger." Zainab forced a smile. "Mama, I know." "No, you don't," her mother said, turning from the stove. "You think time waits. It doesn't. People are already asking questions." Zainab didn't answer. She swallowed and tied her scarf tighter. At church that Sunday, the message was titled, "Waiting on God." Somehow, it felt like it was directed at her alone. "Some of you are delaying your blessings," the pastor said. "When God brings your helper, you must not overthink." Zainab shifted in her seat. After service, Auntie Moreniki grabbed her hand. "You are very beautiful, educated too, but beauty doesn't keep a home. Marriage does." Zainab laughed politely. "Yes, Ma." Inside, she was tired. That night, she lay on her bed scrolling endlessly. Smiling couples, pregnancy announcements, wedding hashtags. She locked her phone and stared at the ceiling. "What if they're right?" she whispered to herself. "What if I'm the problem?" Kunle came 3 weeks later. They introduced him as Brother Kunle. Tall, calm, soft-spoken. The kind of man who prayed with his eyes closed tight, like he meant every word. The kind that elders nodded approvingly at. "You're Zainab?" he asked, smiling. "Yes," she replied. "I've heard a lot about you." She smiled back, warmth spreading in her chest. That sentence alone felt like relief. Their first conversation was easy. Too easy. "You work late?" Kunle asked. "Yes, sometimes. Finance is demanding." He nodded. "A woman like you will make a good wife." She laughed lightly. "That was fast." He smiled. "Life is short." 2 weeks in, he brought up marriage. "I don't like wasting time," Kunle said over the phone. "Courtship shouldn't be long." Zainab hesitated. "Don't you think we should get to know each other more?" "We are getting to know each other," he replied smoothly. "What more do you need?" Her friends were thrilled. "At least he's serious," Halima said. "Do you know how rare that is?" Her mother cried when Kunle came to greet them properly. "God has answered us," she kept saying. Zainab felt carried along by something bigger than her doubts. There were signs, small ones. Kunle didn't like when she disagreed publicly. "Respect matters," he said once, his smile stiff. "People are watching." When she wore a sleeveless dress, he frowned. "Is that how married women dress?" "I'm not married yet," she replied, half joking. "You will be," he said firmly. She laughed it off. Everyone did. The proposal came fast. No grand speech. Just certainty. "I'm ready," Kunle said. "Let's not delay." Zainab's heart raced. Fear and excitement tangled together. She thought of the questions, the whispers, the pressure lifting. "Yes," she said. The wedding was big. Music loud, smiles wide, cameras flashing. "Finally!" someone shouted as she danced. Zainab smiled until her cheeks hurt. That night, alone in the bathroom, she stared at her reflection. Her makeup was perfect, her gel flawless. "God," she whispered, gripping the sink. "Please, Let this be right. Marriage was quiet at first, too quiet. Kunli corrected her tone, her laughter, her timing. Why do you talk like that? Why do you need to go out again? Why are you always tired? When she tried to explain, he sighed. Marriage needs patience. Stop arguing. One evening, she came home late from work. Kunli sat waiting. Where were you? He asked. Office, she replied. I told you I had a meeting. You didn't tell me it would be this late. I texted. He stood up slowly. Do not challenge me. I'm not challenging you, she said, voice shaking. I'm explaining. That was when the slap came. The room fell silent again. Zainab stood frozen, her face burning, her heart breaking into pieces she didn't know how to gather. Kunle looked at her, breathing hard. You pushed me. She nodded slowly, tears finally falling. Not because of the pain, but because she knew, without doubt now, that this was the beginning of something darker. She bent to pick up the spoon. Pick it properly, Kunle snapped. You're not a child. That night, she lay awake, staring at the ceiling again. Only this time, the question was different. Why didn't I wait? If this story is already hitting close to home, pause and tap the like button. You're not alone, and your engagement helps this story reach someone who needs it. Zainab stopped telling people what was happening. At first she tried. Mama, Kunle gets angry sometimes, she said carefully during a phone call. Her mother sighed. Marriage is not beans, my daughter. Endure. When she told Halima, her friend laughed nervously. Maybe you talked back. Men don't like that. Zainab nodded and said nothing more. Endurance became routine. Kunle monitored everything. Her calls, her clothes, her tone. Why are you smiling at your phone? Why do you need makeup to go to work? Why are you still close to single friends? One night, she said quietly, I miss who I used to be. Kunle looked at her like she had insulted him. That person is dead. You're a wife now. Something inside her cracked. Weeks passed, months. She learned silence, learned how to speak without provoking anger, learned how to apologize even when she didn't understand her crime. But silence didn't protect her. It only delayed the explosion. The night it truly broke, it started with a simple question. Can I visit my mother this weekend? Zainab asked softly. Kunle didn't look up from his phone. Why? She's not feeling well. She'll survive. Zainab swallowed. I'll go and come back same day. Kunle stood up slowly. You don't ask, you inform, and I say yes or no. Her voice trembled. I wasn't disrespecting you. He laughed once, cold. You always think you're smart. I just want to see my mother, she said, tears gathering. Kunle's face hardened. Sit down. Sit down. Her legs shook as she obeyed. You think marriage is freedom, he continued. You rushed into this, remember? Nobody forced you. Those words hit her like stones. That night she cried quietly into her pillow, careful not to make a sound. In the morning she woke up and realized something terrifying. She felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just emptiness. At work her colleague noticed. Zainab, you're not yourself. She smiled faintly. I'm fine. But she wasn't. She stopped dressing up, stopped laughing, stopped calling friends. Even God felt distant now. One afternoon Kunle found her staring blankly at the wall. What's wrong with you? He asked. Nothing. You're always tired. I am tired, he scoffed. Women exaggerate everything. That night she made a decision she never thought she would make. She packed a small bag. Just clothes, documents, nothing dramatic. Her hands shook as she zipped it. Kunle walked in. What's this? I need space, she said, voice barely audible. Just some time. He stared at her, then laughed. You're joking. I'm not. His laughter disappeared. Sit down. No. The slap came again. Harder this time. She fell. Something inside her snapped clean. She stood up slowly, blood at the corner of her mouth. "I rushed into marriage," she said, her voice calm in a way that frightened even her. "But I won't rush into dying here." Kunli froze. She walked past him. Outside, the night air felt like freedom and fear mixed together. At her mother's house, the truth spilled out. The silence, the slaps, the control. Her mother cried. "Why didn't you say anything?" Zainab laughed bitterly. "I did. You told me to endure." The room went quiet. Days turned into weeks. Whispers followed her everywhere. She couldn't keep her home. She rushed marriage. She failed. But for the first time in a long time, Zainab slept peacefully. One evening she sat alone, scrolling through her phone. Another wedding announcement popped up. She didn't feel jealous. She felt relief. "If you are watching this story right now," the narrator says softly, "and you feel pressure crawling into your decisions, pause." Zainab looked at the screen and whispered, "Marriage is not a rescue mission." Kunli called once, then twice, then stopped. She didn't chase closure. She chose healing. Months later, standing by the window, Zainab spoke to no one in particular. "I didn't fail," she said. "I learned." She picked up her phone and typed a message she never sent. "Don't rush into marriage. Pressure is louder than wisdom."